Sweet mother of Jersey Devil, it's a damn shark commando. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
I did like that one.
Is either that or Don't Die on Me, Meatball.
What was like, you can take my freedom, but don't take. No, you can take my life, but don't take my meatball.
This movie's so stupid. This is episode 142 of I Hope You Suffer. My name is Nathan.
And I'm Katie.
And Kit is not here.
Kit, I'm right here. It's me, Kit.
Kit,
Ooh, Texas is hot.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, no Kit this week. He is on vacation. So
Well-deserved.
we decided to have Katie watch two kind of bigger in our podcast lore movies from when she was not on the podcast. So she watched Weresquito, Nazi Hunter, and Post-Apocalyptic Commando Shark, which
Sure did.
for some reason was our most popular episode for like a year and a half.
Yeah, I don't know.
Even,
people love sharks.
I mean, it's got to be based on the title, but like Letterboxd, only 105 people have logged that they watched it. No, wait, no, that's Weresquito. Hold on, let's see. Only 68 people have logged that they watched Post-Apocalyptic Commando Shark. So, like,
Yeah,
I don't know if people are watching it or if they're just listening to the episode based on the title.
Could be. On IMDb, it only has 97. So, like, that's not a lot for that.
I listened back to the Weresquito episode and I was like, God damn, this is boring.
I remember listening to... Oh, shit, it was one of these two when I was actually, like, taking a trip to, like, whenever the episode came out, I had downloaded it because I was taking a trip to California before I lived in California, and I specifically remember listening to it on the plane. So it's kind of interesting that these were the two that I watched, like, now living here.
I thought it was funny, though, because, like, it wasn't planned, but when I was trying to find the episode, I was looking for it, and Kit and I did episode 35, Weresquito Nazi Hunter, then episode 36, House. Then episode 37 is Mansquito. Episode 38 is Death House.
Yeah.
We were, we don't
I
know
like
what
how
we're doing.
The Mansquito one is like, we're talking about another movie about a man turning into a mosquito monster for some reason. Like, what a weird block of... Because before that, you did, like, Terrorvision, The Dentist, and then Tsunami. I was gonna surprise you by watching Tsunami, but I thought it wouldn't be fair to Kit to not talk to him about it, too.
Honestly, I think if we do Tsunami, we should make that a bonus episode.
Yeah. Then I was also going to surprise you by watching Death House, but Death House isn't free anymore, so I unfortunately only watched these two.
Yeah, I suppose, like, I was like, I'm gonna find two of the movies that from like before you were on to do to do this episode that, like, I was like, I would see what's like up for free, and I was like, well, I know, like, I think I see Post-Apocalyptic Commando Shark like all the time when I log into Prime. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'll look on Prime and see, and I saw that was on there. Then I was like, oh shit, I forgot about Weresquito, and then I just looked at that was on there too. So I was like, oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
I remember
also pretty similar plot movies, like,
yeah, pretty much. It's just like war shit with fucking
Nazis
weird creatures
turning people into creatures. Yeah.
Yeah, I re-listened to the Weresquito episode. I didn't make it to Post-Apocalyptic Commando Shark, and I just like Kit and I are just like, yeah, this was not great.
Yeah, I definitely listened to both of the episodes when they came out, but I didn't rewatch them specifically. Like, The title kind of tells you what the movie is about, honestly, but like I didn't want to like I didn't remember anything from either of them except for the Commando sharks amazing prosthetics.
The one head
So,
they made.
yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I'll yeah, we'll get it. So let's talk about Weresquito Nazi Hunter.
Okay.
From 2016. I said in the original episode, which again, episode 35, that
Hmm.
I was going to watch some more of this director's movies. I did not.
Wow.
Because they all have, like, pretty fucking awesome titles and posters, but then, like, they're all, like, his entire thing is making mock, like, 50s style movies, and I hate 50s movies for the most part,
Hmm.
so. And, like, honestly, none of them have as good a title as Weresquito Nazi Hunter.
True.
So, like,
Demon
why?
with the Atomic Brain sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, like House
I
of
do see,
Ghosts.
yeah, I do see this Danny Johnson Saves the World has a puppet, so I'm gonna say no, no on that one.
Well, and like honestly, like all of the movies are only like 70 minutes long, so it's not like they're even long, but just I don't know. It's that the whole aesthetic of movies like this, where it's just like not much happening, people talking for fucking ever.
Yeah.
But at least this one, like from what I remember, like the Weresquito like makeup and shit is pretty like fun.
Yeah.
And like the Black Widow one shit I remember being pretty stupid, but
I agree with that.
so what'd you think of Weresquito Nazi Hunter?
Uh, I would also like to point out that Cave Women on Mars looks kind of cool. Um, I actually this I'm gonna start off by saying that they are both not like because they are both. It's really hard for me to not compare them, honestly, because I watched them together.
Yeah.
Um, I liked Weresquito better because, like, I'll start off by saying obviously these are like this is so Weresquito is listed as a horror sci-fi war, but it's also like a parody, obviously you just said. And post-apocalyptic Commando Sharks is also a comedy. So we're already in a genre that to me is really hard to pull off. We've talked about this like lots of times. But I really liked Weresquito because of like it reminded me a lot of like the Twilight Zone, which is why I feel like I liked it. So the movie's in black and white, except for the blood, which is actually red, which I thought was like really cool looking.
Yeah.
Um, I think if I didn't like when I first like I grew up like watching Twilight Zone. I was never really into like the black and white stuff, but when we first moved here, I like binged all of it, and so I feel like if I wasn't somebody who like really liked it already, I don't know if I would have liked this as much because I feel like nowadays like trying to pull off black and white is kind of hard, but it worked for me because it's like yeah, it is like a sci-fi movie. um the thing that I really liked about it was the dialogue. So they take a lot of the, like you were saying, it's like based off of like a 1950s type thing where everybody talked like this and they're like, don't worry about it, doll. And it's like the things that they said to each other didn't make any
So they
sense.
talk like all of your impressions.
Yes, my one impression that I can do. 50s straight-laced detective and
F-
then
newsy.
newsy paperboy. Um but the thing that I liked about this is that like the the people like whenever they would say ridiculous things to each other would like question other people on it, where like normally in older stuff they wouldn't. So like there's a scene where the main character, whose name was
Uh
John Baker,
Baker, yeah.
he's the Weresquito, and he's talking to Liesel, whose abusive ex-boyfriend has like broken into their house and is like roughing her up. She gets knocked out, and then Baker like becomes the Weresquito and like kills him, I guess. And she wakes up and she's like, "Oh, where did Dan go?" or whatever his name was. And he's like, "Don't worry about it. I took care of him." And she's like, "Well, what does that? What do you mean?" And he was like, "Don't worry about it. I took care of him." She's like, "Yeah, but what does that mean?" Instead of just like saying, "Don't worry, I took care of it," toots or whatever. And then she's just like, "Okay." So it's like anytime anyone said something vague, they were like, "Okay, but that like what are you talking about?" And I found that pretty funny. Um, I really liked um then they just said stuff to each other. Like one of them said, this just got a lot more interesting, and then someone said, "What? No, it didn't." Um, I liked the bug suit a lot. Like you were saying, the bug suit was really cool, and the Black Widow thing was pretty stupid. I was like really disappointed in that. Um,
Yeah, I really like the Mansquito, like, because it's just a head and gloves with just like,
mhm.
whatever clothes the person's wearing, but like you could tell they put some money into the actual like head of the costume.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit more sculpted than a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like that's like part of what made it feel like, aside from the kind of like comedic um script, the Weresquito, like that's part of what even more reminded me of just like a long episode of Twilight Zone, because like it was pretty similar to a lot of sculpts that you would see like on that show. And I have to say that I fucking loved the subtitles in this
Oh,
movie.
they're so good.
What the heck? So it's like I watch everything with subtitles anyway
Yeah, same.
already. But this is like the movie added their own subtitles. So like in the very beginning, you're seeing subtitles of there's like a war going on, and one of them is sounds of death. And then there's like this one where like the main character, also one of them was murdered. One of them, somebody slapped somebody else and it said slap slappy, and I was just like losing my mind. There's this part where the main character is like trying to figure out, he's like murdered a dog person or something, and he's like trying to figure out where to go, and the subtitle says it's like moaning, more moaning, something somewhere is moaning, where could it be coming from, monstrous moaning or whatever. And I just thought it was like so funny because he's like reacting to it. I don't know even what you would call that. It's like,
Yeah, I don't know.
because
Like,
there's
there's, I can't remember if this was the same movie. I remember one of them had like, there's another movie that maybe it was when Kit and I were just doing it that had like people would say stuff and in the captions it would like ask rhetorical questions during it, where like somebody had said something and they were like spaghetti question marks, and I was just like, what
mm,
is happening?
I don't know, but I we need to figure it out so I can watch it. I thought it was so funny because it's like the characters, but and I obviously feel like I need to reiterate, like the subtitles are saying that nobody is actually saying the words,
Yeah,
like,
it's just
and
jokes in
then
the subtitles.
yeah, yeah. Well, but I thought it was really funny. So like overall, like I I at least appreciate that there was kind of like a story to it, and it wasn't like, I don't know, because you're like flashing back between where Skeeto like trying to find this like scientist guy that fucked him up, but then you're also getting flashes of like back when he was being turned into a Weresquito, I guess. Like so for a lot of the movie, like you don't really know what's happening, uh, which I liked, and I felt like it's only an hour and 20 minutes, so I don't know. There were some parts that kind of dragged, I guess. Like you said, there's just a lot of talking. There's like not really a ton of action, but
Yeah, I think what I needed was less of the flashbacks and
mhm.
maybe like one or two more like things of him killing a Nazi.
Yeah.
It just needed like a little bit more action to counteract how much of like the movie is just dialogue between like two people.
Yeah, like I would say this is sort of more, I mean, and again, I hate to keep saying it's like Twilight Zone, but that is a lot of Twilight Zone episodes where like it's a
Yeah,
lot of dialogue and not a lot of things happening. But I would almost say that this is more of like a sci-fi drama than anything else because it does focus a lot on Weresquito and Liesel and like their new relationship or whatever.
I think Twilight Zone's a pretty good like comparison. Um, like I think I said something in the episode where like it kind of reminds me of like a more sci-fi version of like a Herschel Gordon Lewis like blood feast type movie, but like those were obviously like more like gory and horror esque. This is just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I guess Twilight Zone's a good, pretty good comparison because it is very like
There,
goofy enough, but also like takes itself seriously enough that it kind of works.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like comparing the two movies that we just like that I watched because post-apocalyptic Commando Shark does not take itself seriously at all,
No.
and this movie does, but like unlike a lot of movies that we've watched in the past where they take themselves seriously and they don't need to, like it actually works for this. And I think a lot of it comes from it being in black and white and it being like a quote unquote like period piece thing. Like I just think it really works. And I also like the idea of like what a weird so he is like he like we said is like a Nazi experiment. So he has been I don't know turned into a Weresquito. He's a Weresquito because he is like a man. He looks like a man. But then when he sees blood or he bleeds, he transitions into a mosquito.
Yeah, basically just any time under whatever circumstance that he sees blood, he like hulks out into like a Weresquito.
But it's really I loved it anytime he was turning because it was just the actor going like straining and then they like strobed the camera on him. And so there's like no special effects. Excuse me. No special effects. There's not really any gore. Like I said, it's black and white, but the blood is actually red. So I really liked the way that it looked. And like I liked the idea of there's this one part where he's like chained up. Oh, he's a mosquito, but also he has like superhuman strength for some reason. Who knows? Um, and he is like chained up and there's like this moment where he's like, oh no, I'm trapped, I need to like like so he's like trying to make himself bleed so he could like wear Skeeto out and he's like trying to bite his shoulders and stuff and I just felt that like that it seems so real to me because like if I were a wear Skeeto in that situation like I would totally be like, oh, I need to figure out a way to like wear Skeeto myself. And so I don't know, I just like overall I really liked it.
Yeah, it was better than I think on my first watch because like I knew what I was getting into this time.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first time we watched it, I was just like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like there's jokes in the credits, like everything about it was just like kind of baffling to me. But yeah, it's not. I still like I don't ever. I think I would watch it just on my own. Like
Yeah,
it would have to be for something like this, but
yeah, I agree with that. I really liked it on my first watch when I didn't know what to expect or what was going on because like part of the fun of it is like finding the stuff like just experiencing it without like knowing what you're getting into. I don't think I would rewatch it personally either, but for a first watch, I liked it.
yeah, it's all right. It's just that you kind of I think if you're somebody that really likes that era of movies, you would love this. Like I
Yeah.
know people that are like specifically just like shit from like the 50s and 60s. So like if that's kind of your shit, I would definitely suggest it, especially if you have it for free on Prime. I don't know if I would ever tell anybody to pay money to watch this.
No, but I would also like recommend it to, like I said, specifically people that like Twilight Zone or that kind of thing, because it's like obviously it's kind of like a parody, but it's instead of it being just like a spoof of it, it's kind of more like you can tell it was written by somebody who like actually enjoys it, and it's kind of like poking fun at it in like a loving way and not like a haha this is shit kind of thing. So I feel like if you like that sort of, yeah, if you like that genre, it's worth watching for free. But overall, I wouldn't have paid for it. It's also not very long. I feel like paying to rent like a hour-long movie is not something I would do.
Yeah,
but...
it looked like all of his movies were between like 65 and like 80 minutes. So,
And honestly, that's fine. Like, I think I honestly could have even gone with just a straight hour.
yeah.
Because I feel like for the content, it does kind of get boring if there's like if it goes on for too long.
Yeah, I think
But
that was kind of my problem with it, was that like there's so little of him actually going after Nazis. Like, I think it only really happens maybe twice before he's captured by Shram. That like
yeah.
it just needed more of that in the movie. Just like I said, just one or two more would have evened it out a little bit to make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
All right. What about 2018's post-apocalyptic Commando shark? The greatest special effects makeup.
I will start by saying that there were things in this movie that I did like, but overall it wasn't my favorite.
I mean, it's very stupid.
But my problem is like at this point we've just seen so many movies that try and do this thing that do it well. Like this one I kept like it's not even the same thing at all, but I couldn't help but like compare it to Velocipaster.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the reviews of people that have watched it on Letterboxd like recently have kind of mentioned Velocipaster in it.
Yeah, and I don't really know why because it's not the same plot. But I don't know. I think just the shark makeup situation, maybe that's what it reminded me of. I adore this shitty paper mache rubber shark head.
It's so good.
I love it. Like I know that I've seen it because like whenever you guys did the movie, you posted pictures of it, so I've seen it before. But I don't know. This to me kind of was like I didn't feel like so this movie the plot is that it's a post-apocalyptic future. There's nothing about it that looks apocalyptic at all.
Yeah, it's just the woods.
Yeah, it's just like someone's backyard or whatever. And so in this one we have the Soviet Russian army that has used a German doctor to make shark people. And so it's like still pretty similar because, you have like some kind of overseas power making people creatures trying to, whatever. And then, you have like the main characters in this are like the American army, and they are all so stupid and ridiculous. They're wearing like American flags everywhere, which I thought was pretty funny. Like anywhere on your body you can wear an American flag, like they essentially were. But I felt like it kind of didn't have much of a plot. Like the Weresquito at least was like plot driven. Like the main character had a goal that he was going through to like, and this was just sort of like introducing people and immediately killing them, introducing people, immediately killing them. So this had, whereas the other one had not almost any killing, this had a lot of killing. And some of it looked pretty funny. Like there's effects where like the shark would like bite someone's neck and you don't actually see it, but then it's just like splurting blood, which was like pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Let's see, what are some of the things that I wrote down? I did like that there was multiple sharks. So there's like an entire army of Commando shark leaders who have pretty thick Russian accents in this. I already said take my life, but don't take my meatball. Meatball, of course, is the best character. He gets like disemboweled at one point, and he's just like, I'm fine, just give me some duct tape.
Yeah.
And then like throughout the whole movie, he's just kind of like somehow, uh,
Like
I
holding
don't
his
know.
insides in with duct tape.
Yeah, and then like missing getting slaughtered a bunch of times. The whole like subplot with the I think it's the American doctor who has like the talking dog I didn't care for.
Oh my
Like
god, I love the talking dog. It's so
the end
stupid and makes no sense that I was just like, I'm in.
yeah, I didn't except for there is one scene between him and the dog where they're just like quipping back and forth, like saying taglines like goody goody gumdrops, and the dog's like, well, I'll be doggone, and then he's like, great Jiminy Christmas, and the dog's like, that's possum. He doesn't say possum, but like, but it goes back and forth. They both say like five or six things, and I did think that was really funny. Um, there's a lot of really good puns in this one. So I feel like if you like that was pretty much the only thing. I did laugh a few times at some of the puns just because like this is your first episode somehow. I love a pun. Like there's one where like the sharks show up and somebody goes, "Holy mackerel." And he goes, "No, I'm a shark." Just like shit like that.
Like, I think this movie is like a pretty good representation of what Kit and I were trying to find for like when we
Hmm.
started the podcast, were movies like this that are just like very stupid, obviously not good, but like pretty fun.
Yeah.
So like like it doesn't always work, but it's totally watchable, and like the shark heads alone are like worth
Yeah.
watching, because like it literally looks like it's almost like it's like a pinata. Like it just looks like paper mache. It's lumpy, the mouth doesn't move, the eyes are fucking wonky.
They're like little beady eyes too. I think that like as the movie progresses, like I said, there's multiple sharks. They pretty much just change their outfits to kind of represent that they're different sharks. It is the same head, but you can see throughout the movie how the head gets like fucked up. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, towards the end, like you can clearly see that the person wearing the shark head sees out of the neck because it's just like black mesh. And the bottom jaw does wiggle a little bit. So I wonder if it's like, I don't know, like half fake shark head and then paper mache. But then there's also like what they call a megalodon, which is essentially just like an actual rubber shark that they have like blown up, and it's like literally flopping around New York like eating people, and it's like it's like making like a crazy sound or whatever. And that was kind of funny just because it's like legit just a bath like a
Yeah,
bath toy
yeah, literally like a
shark.
kid's like toy shark.
Yeah. Um But I don't know. My other issues with this is it was like one of those movies where the music and the sound effects were extremely loud and the
Yeah.
talking was very low. So I had a hard time because I had to keep like turning it up and turning it down, which I just hate that.
Yeah, you
Um
kind of get that a lot with like super low budget stuff. Like this movie
yeah.
probably was
Let's
made on
see.
like no money.
Uh
Like I would bet this movie's at least under $5,000.
I don't see anything
Yeah, I mean IMDb does like a lot of movies, unless it's something like,
big.
yeah, like they usually don't have it, or if it's like one of those movies where it's like, Kevin Smith has talked about Clerks costing $27,000, blah blah blah, like down to the penny.
Right.
So like it's probably not on there.
Nope, not a lot. Very low keywords. Apocalypse, Soviet army. I do like the idea that like it's a post-apocalyptic world and like one of the main like America guys is like went all the way to like this base and was like, "Oh, I wanted to let you guys know that like these sharks are attacking," and they're just like, "You fucking idiot, we know that." And he's like, "Well, how did you know?" And they're like, "The radio, the internet still works." And he's like, "Oh, I guess like it's the apocalypse." So he just like didn't bother to check and see if anything works. And then later there's a scene where like they're listening to the radio and it's like, everybody, our new base is at this waterfall, so everybody go meet there. And then seconds later it's like, oh, the USSR or the Soviet, what do they even say? They say the Soviet Union.
I think so.
I don't, oh, maybe they called it the Red Army or something like that. We don't know how they found out our base was there, but now it's bombed. And I'm like, oh my God. So like there were some things in it that were funny, but like overall,
yeah, I mean, like I said, it's totally like it's a movie that watching for the podcast, I was not mad. I watched. I was like, okay, this was fun. Like, it's also it's like a movie that I feel like would maybe be fun to watch with like a group of people. Because it's just it's very like stupid, but it's like it's just watching it on your own, like as a thing. This is another movie that I feel like could have been like an hour instead of like an hour 25 or whatever.
Yeah, because then they added like an after credit scene, which like I'm not sure why it was there. It was basically just like eggs from space were gonna land and take over the bodies. It was like a meatball machine situation, but it was like dyed eggs in an egg carton, and I was like, what? Did they do something with that, or?
I don't think so. I think this is the last movie this guy's directed. It like because this was 2018.
Yeah. It's no BioCop, that's for sure.
This might be the last thing he's made since, because he acts in like a handful of stuff and like produces and stuff, and it looks
he was
like
additional crew for Amazing Spider-Man too.
He was in a producer of A Christmas Princess in 2019.
Have you seen this Snow Shark Agent Snow Beast?
Oh yeah, that's in my watch list. Along with Dick Johnson and Tommy Gunn versus the Cannibal Cop.
Oh my God. This shark looks like the shark, like the megalodon that they used from this movie.
I'm sure it is. His name is Clownface.
No.
That's only 19 minutes.
Is it a documentary about Eli Roth?
Yes. Sick burn.
Oh yeah, he acts in the snow shark business.
Yeah, I think he acts it because he was he the he may have been the American scientist in this.
Oh, maybe. I don't think he's got a headshot, so
yeah, I can't remember. I know he's in it, and like I think his brother is in it as well, something like that.
So this movie keeps coming up, and it's called Killer Rack.
Yeah.
And the plot is that a woman suffering from low self-esteem gets a breast enhancement surgery, unaware that her surgeon worships H.P. Lovecraft's elder gods. And the surgery is part of a dialogical plot to rule the world.
Yeah, I don't know how Kit and I never got to that. Because I remember us talking about that in one of the episodes.
Wow, this looks...
We're going to have to do Killer Anatomy Month.
Lloyd Kaufman is in it?
Of course he is.
Wow.
You could Lloyd Kaufman will come be in your low budget movie. All you have to do is pay for him to get there.
Yeah, wear a Toxic Avenger shirt. So yeah, that guy's in this, and then also, I guess the killer boobs talk because there's somebody credited as just the voice of the Killer Rack. So, oh my God, his name is Dr. Thulu.
Yeah,
or her name's Dr. Thulu. Pig girl. Okay, I'm not looking. Actually,
I like that.
Kind of cute.
Andrew Elias, who is in this movie, was in Snow Sharks, Post-Apocalyptic Commando Shark, The Legend of Six Fingers, and Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace.
Uh, what was he in Star Wars?
I don't know. I'd have to go through like the entire. I'm on Letterboxd, so I'd have to
Oh,
fucking
okay. There's a movie that's currently filming he's in called Grave Robbers from Outer Space.
I'm in. I'll watch that.
I don't think, yeah, IMDb doesn't have the Star Wars.
I'm trying to see. He is a Naboo Royal Guard.
Ooh,
So
good for you.
get that Star Wars paycheck. I don't remember Debbie. Yeah, I guess I do remember Debbie Rochon
Oh,
being
you
in
know
this.
what? I was looking at the wrong person. This guy is in A Christmas in Vermont, which I have definitely seen.
I feel like if I ever come across a movie that's got like Christmas and Princess or something, or both
I
in the
had
title, I'm like, Katie's definitely seen this.
I haven't seen honestly, I haven't seen a lot of the Princess and Prince ones. Like I watched the one that I'm blanking on her name from iZombie was in just because I like her.
Oh yeah,
They
she's a great actress.
they were not good. But a lot of if it says A Christmas in whatever state, whatever, I've probably seen it.
Oh shit, the guy that did Killer Rack did Slime City? I am in.
Oh my gosh.
Slime
Yeah,
City
so
rules.
oh, you know what? The Andrew Elias is in that movie Battle Dogs. I almost picked that like the month that we were when I picked Somnium. I almost picked Battle Dogs.
Oh, you should have, because it probably would have been better.
I mean,
Although
but the point was for us
I
to
know,
pick
I was
bad.
Somnium did its intended purpose, I guess.
Yeah, so yeah, it looks like a lot of these people are in the same movies together, so I kind of like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that like a lot of these, like especially like lower budget ones. If like the director makes a bunch of movies, he usually uses the same people.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Meatball was in Death House.
Oof, that's unfortunate. Um, so watch Weresquito on your recommendation. What about do you recommend people watch this post-apocalyptic Commando Shark?
Mm, mm, maybe.
I say watch it solely because it's a maybe the weirdest shark movie you're gonna watch.
That's true. I think, like you said, like watching it with a group of people is probably be better because this movie to me is not good enough to be a solo watch.
I
Like,
I think if you specifically like some of the more like fun bad movies we've covered, like God, I don't know why I'm blanking on these movies now. Let me see. Where's our fucking list?
uh,
Let's see. I mean, like, I would put it up there with something along the lines of like Eight-Legged Freaks, but like not like a extremely low budget kind of version of something like that. Just like a very stupid like creature feature type thing, or even like something
yeah.
along the lines of like Return of the Killer Tomatoes. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think my issue, like maybe if I had watched this movie just as itself, like I would have liked it more. It was just hard because I did watch Weresquito first, and then when I started thinking about all the other like sort of goofy horror sci-fi-ish movies that we all like, this one doesn't really hold up to it, but like maybe someone else who likes those movies will like this. Like I'm not saying definitely don't watch it because
oh
it's
no,
not
no, yeah, yeah, I got.
it's not it's not like some of the truly bad stuff that we've watched, but like it just wasn't my favorite as far as the comedy part of it goes.
Yeah, I
Like
get that. It didn't have jokes in the subtitles.
no. I did like a lot of the puns though. Like the script was like had like comedic value to me. But and like I said, I love the shark. I liked uh wow, the little CG that was in this movie was pretty terrible though. There was like a scene where there's a car flipping and I was like, "Oh my God, is this a Super Nintendo? What's going on
Uh,
here?"
I do like the like kind of climax stuff that when they finally get to like the big final battle, it's like 8 people.
Yeah, and then that like one of the like American soldiers keeps just like shot like one of the unarmed like doctor guys, and he was like, "Hey, that wasn't cool. He's unarmed." And then the other American guy was like, "God, come on." He was like, "I'm sorry. I thought he was evil." Like, so it is, yeah. I don't know. Definitely watch it if you like that kind of dumb thing. It's just this movie does not take itself seriously at all, which is like fine. It's just like a different kind of movie.
Right. All right. Did you get any news by any chance?
I mean, a lot of the news is like like they're all of a sudden just like, "Oh, there's like 12,000 horror movies coming out this summer." And I'm like, "Okay, great." I did see that like I think we kind of knew about this before, but the unwritten or the un not unwritten, the movie that wasn't actually a movie by George Romero, Twilight of the Dead, is like maybe actually getting picked up this time, and I think that his wife has been like behind the scenes kind of like working on the script to like make it into a movie or whatever. So,
Yeah,
um
I know we had like a novel that
right.
came
Like
out
I
too, but I
think
can't remember if it was the same thing or not.
I think so. I'm not sure, but I think I remember whenever we were like, "Oh, this they just found this novel or whatever." So maybe that's what they're so I'm not sure though. I'm not like super versed on those movies,
Um,
honestly. But
oh man, I'll watch it. The last of the Dead movie, Survival of the Dead, was absolute trash. But I'll always watch something George Romero, and I'd be interested to see like what the that universe was going into. I guess
yeah, well, I think that this one is kind of like a follow-up from Land of the Dead.
that's even better because I love Land of the Dead.
I remember seeing that in the theater, and I don't remember liking it, but it
I
was a different
don't
time.
think a lot of people did, but I've seen a lot of people recently because I think
Coming back to
it
it.
came free on something have been like, oh, this movie kind of holds up better now. So
Well, my issue is like what I'm discovering is that like I said, like during that time I saw a lot of movies in the theater that were a lot of them I didn't like at the time that I am like revisiting now that I am liking. So I need to like stop being like, "Oh, I saw that and I hated it," and just like revisit stuff because a lot of the times when I've revisited stuff, I've been like, "Okay, this isn't that bad." Or now I can look at it and be like, "Oh, this isn't serious. This is funny." Like Freddy versus Jason or something like that. You know what I mean? So,
well, I have an idea about the of the Dead series that we will talk about later. So
okay. I've only seen I saw Land of the Dead in the theater. I've definitely seen Dawn of the Dead. That might be it, honestly.
all right, well, that's good to know.
And then the only other thing that I saw is that they're doing a documentary for RoboCop called RoboDoc.
I'm in.
And they have secured some interview with Peter Weller in it. And then I also was reading that they were supposed to um, like obviously it's like a making of, and I guess maybe there hasn't really been anything like that. So
There's like some little kind of like featurettes on like the DVDs, but probably nothing like
extensive.
yeah, nothing like real kind of in depth. It's just been like the stuff of like footage on set of the actual making, but probably I don't know if I've ever seen anything that's had Verhoeven talking about. I mean, I'm sure he has. I'm sure he's done interviews. I don't know. Either way, I'm in.
Yeah, well,
I love RoboCop. So
Yeah, well, as you know, I recently saw RoboCop for the first time earlier this year, and I loved it. So, we still haven't watched the second one yet. We've I don't know. It's on our. I know it's not going to be as good. So, but yeah, he's going to be part of the cast also. And then I also like anytime I see producers now, I always look for Adam Goldberg, and he's producing this one. And then I realized that he also produced that Nickelodeon one that I watched. So I feel like anytime I see his name attached, I'm like I'm always into whatever it is. So I don't know how long it's gonna be, but I don't know. That could
Yeah,
be
I'll
interesting. I
watch it.
would love to see them go into the process of like how they made the bullet hole prosthetics on people because like I said, I've never seen anything like the gore in that movie. So hopefully they do some kind of like that kind of thing.
Yeah, there's no
But
way they don't talk about the effects because even just like the stop motion shit would be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. And then I also saw there's a new Australian shark attack movie called Great White that is going to be on VOD in July.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll end up watching that too.
I know. It's really crazy because like shit, what was that movie called? There was one of the shark movies that we did that was like
Beat
was
3D.
it Bait 3D?
That was the one that's in like
No, what's the one that had the rap in it? Shark Night? Do you remember?
yes, Shark Night 3D
Okay.
with
Yes.
like all the
So
actors rapping or whatever.
yes, okay. So that movie, there was a character, the guy that played kind of like the good guy Dennis. His name is no wait, not Dennis. His name is Nick in the movie. He was kind of the like the good old nice guy in it.
Mm.
His name is Dustin Milligan. He is like one of the main characters in Schitt's Creek. And when he showed up, I was like, why does this dude look so familiar? Like, what is he from? And then when I looked it up and saw it was Shark Night, I just like cracked up because he plays like essentially the same character, but it was just like really funny to see him like in that kind of he plays like a veterinarian, like kind of like a I don't know. So that just was pretty funny. Like I guess he's in a lot of stuff, but you know, people can be in more than one thing, I guess.
Yeah, well that
Surprisingly.
also doesn't happen in most of the movies we cover.
I know that's why like this one I guess I shouldn't have been as surprised because like a lot of these actors are in other things that are like pretty well known and like shows from our childhood or whatever, but like him specifically that was just like such a weird thing to recognize him from. So,
Right.
um
Uh,
I don't know. That's all I got.
all right. Did you watch anything else this week?
Um yeah. So Chris and I finished Schitt's Creek, so we've gone back to our kind of like watching older movies, and somehow we've gotten sucked into the world of 90s Val Kilmer movies.
Oh hell yeah.
And we had only watched one previously, which was The Saint. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, but not since the 90s.
Holy shit. So you should go back and watch it. He's essentially just like a
We probably will cuz I feel like I think Val Kilmer is maybe Caitlin's favorite actor, and almost
wow.
every time that we talk about like anytime she's gonna pick a movie for the podcast, it's just like I'm always like, what Val Kilmer movie are you gonna pick? Because I know like Tombstone is kind of coming up whenever we get moved and can record again and stuff. So
hmm
it's like that was why we did like Top Gun was because of Val Kilmer.
Yeah, and I feel like Val Kilmer, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like he doesn't really have that great of a track record as far as like people liking him. And I don't know if it was just like Batman hate or like or
I
what.
I don't even think that. I think he makes strange decisions with the movies he decides to make. But I
Yeah.
think he's all like everything I've seen him in, I always think he's really good. I just don't think he always picks
Ouch.
the
Ow.
best like movies to do at the right time.
Sorry, Merlin tried to jump in my lap, but he didn't make it, and he just was like clawing the shit out of my leg.
Yeah, he just
You know,
scratch his way down.
yeah, that's essentially what he did. And then I grabbed his paws to try and like unhook his claws, and he got scared. So that was the whole thing. Um, yeah, and I sort of feel like as I'm watching more of his movies, I sort of feel like he has sort of like we've talked about this with Jean-Claude Van Damme, where he just the movies that he's in are always like super wacky. And I guess I didn't really realize because like I've never been really like I've said, I've never really been into like action movies that much, but the more I watch them, the more I realize how like fucking ridiculous they are, and I'm like,
Uh,
I don't know, maybe I do like them.
there's like a difference because I think the ones in the '90s are so over the top that they're fun.
Hmm.
Like a lot of the stuff, like I could give a fuck about like a Taken movie, you know, like those
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
interest
yeah, yeah.
me. But you
Hmm.
give me a movie of like Jean Claude Van Damme taking down like an army with his fucking feet, I'm in.
Yeah, and like so the Saint is essentially he is like a thief for hire, and he basically has to like steal this formula for cold fusion, right? So we're with the Russians again. The other main actress is Elizabeth Shue, who is like the love interest in Karate Kid, and she's
Yeah.
also in one of my favorite movies, Adventures in Babysitting. So that's already crazy. But then he like has this aspect to him where he is like a super thief. So he like does disguises. And one of the disguises that he tries to get Elizabeth to like fall in love with him is that he's like a hoity-toity like art guy, but he puts on this like long like wig, and just like seeing Val Kilmer like try and like put on a disguise is just like fucking ridiculous. So that movie we watched a while ago. So we recently watched The Ghost in the Darkness from
I don't
1996,
think I've heard of that.
starring Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas. It also has Tom Wilkinson in it. I can't remember if anyone else. But the plot of the movie is that Val Kilmer is a bridge engineer, and he goes to this like city that is in Africa. I don't remember where exactly, but they're like he's like trying to build a bridge because they're trying to build the first railroads there, and people get attacked by lions, and it is crazy. Some of the effects in it are like ridiculous, and then Michael Douglas shows up and he's Michael Douglas. So that one was crazy. And then even more crazy is we watched 1992's Thunderheart.
I think I've seen that. That sounds familiar.
So this is one where Val Kilmer finds out that he is like his dad was half Sioux, and there are these crimes going on a reservation. So the FBI sends him there because he's quote unquote, like Native American. So they sent him to the reservation to like because they think he'll be accepted or whatever. And it's like a whole thing. And so this movie is like more like a crime mystery sort of thing. But like aside from the fact that Val Kilmer's character is just like such a dickhead, it was actually kind of interesting. Sam Shepard's in it, and so is Graham Greene, who, oh, and so is Fred Ward. So, really, really interesting mix of movies.
Eventually, it's not '90s, but you should watch. You may have though. Have you seen Wonderland?
Mm,
The Val Kilmer movie where he plays oh shit, I can't think of his name. It's like the real story of what like Boogie Nights is based off of.
oh my God, you know what? I think that I know the cover, but I don't think I've seen it.
It's really good. Highly recommend.
Oh no, you know what? Never mind. I was thinking of The Doors.
Oh no, it's like he plays like it's. Have you've seen Boogie Nights, right?
I don't know,
Yeah.
actually.
I don't know, but it's like he plays like the porn star that is like based off of it. It's like the
Oh,
true story that like Boogie Nights kind of like. Boogie Nights is like a very kind of stylized and like not not totally accurate version of I can't think of the word, but I don't know. Either way, watch Wonderland. It's good, especially
okay.
if you like I knowing that you like true crime stuff. I think you'd be into it.
Okay. Cause yeah, I don't know why, like, so he was fine for me as like a Batman or whatever, but I think the only other movie I'd really seen him in was The Traveler. And have you seen that
I don't think
one?
so.
It's like essentially, oh, I didn't realize it was a Christmas movie. So essentially, it's just like this guy who walks around like murdering people. Um,
I
but it's
don't
like
that
it's
also kind of sounds familiar, but like kind of also not. I don't know.
I just remember so this that movie came out in 2010 and I don't really think that I'd like seen him in a while, and so when he showed up in this in The Traveler, I was like, what is he looks like pretty freaky. And I don't know how much of it is like I don't know. You should just Google it and look at the pictures of him from the movie. He looks very scary. Um but then somebody was like, in the movie The Saint, Val Kilmer refers to himself as a traveler. And I'm like, I don't think it's related. So
Oh yeah, I've
yeah,
seen this like this poster art or whatever.
yeah. I remember that movie. No one is safe. How do you catch a killer you've already caught? Yeah, wasn't I didn't like it at the time, but so I'm like enjoying like revisiting his movies.
It's just funny because it's like anytime I've looked into like some of the movies he's done, it's always like he was going to turn down Top Gun, which is probably like the biggest like financial hit he ever had.
Yeah.
Maybe Batman, but like it was like he was gonna turn this down to be in this other movie that ended up being like a massive flop or fucking whatever, and like he was a part of like the island of Dr. Moreau like catastrophe from like that Richard Stanley made or tried to
Uh,
make. Like he was in that where he like it was after Top Gun and something else he had done were like huge successes. So he had like he just kind of was like the big kind of talk of like Hollywood at the time.
mhm.
And like he like the documentary is very strange on that movie because like he auditioned for one role and got it, started filming and decided he wanted this different role, so they gave him that, and then halfway through filming for that role he was like, I want to go back to the other one.
Wow.
It's
Okay, I
fucking
just looked
weird.
that that sounds like a thing he would do. I just looked up Wonderland. No, I've never heard of this picture. I've never or this movie. I this picture. I've never seen this cover, but then I'm looking it up like Carrie Fisher, Dylan McDermott, Michael Pitt, Ted Levine are all in this movie. Like what? How have I
it's
not heard of it?
it's really good. I don't think it was like a big release. I watched it like early on of like video on demand stuff, like when it
Mm-hmm.
was like, or whatever new movies came out and that was it. Like it was God, probably like I was probably still living at my mom's house when I watched it.
Wow. Yeah, 2003.
Yeah.
So, man, so yeah, I guess this week I'm standing Val Kilmer. I don't know if he's problematic at
No,
all.
he's in like real bad health. He's
I know, yeah, I know that he had cancer, didn't he? Or
I'm not
has,
sure
or
what, but I don't think he can talk anymore. And like
yeah,
cuz he was in Jay and Silent Bob reboot. They had
yeah.
like they did the joke of they were like rebooting the Blunt Man and Chronic stuff, and they had I forget who Blunt Man and Chronic. I forget which one is Jay, which one was like Kevin Smith. But Supergirl, they recast the Jay character as a woman for
Hmm.
for like the joke in the reboot, and it's Supergirl from the TV show.
Aw.
And then Kevin Smith's character is Val Kilmer. So he had like Val Kilmer came in to be just to do this like one cameo of like, as the Silent Bob character or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cute.
Yeah, he's got throat cancer, which I did know, but I guess I didn't know if it was.
Yeah, I don't think he's in great shape.
No. Well, I stand,
Yeah, I like Val Kilmer. I think
sir.
he's a good actor. All right, so I watched Friday the 13th, 6 and 7. Uh, both are fine. But then
Yeah.
I would say I watched In Search of Darkness Part 2, which is good, but just a lot of fucking Chris Jericho, the dude from Slipknot, being like, can't make these movies these days. PC culture, fucking bullshit.
Yeah, can we get over that, bro?
But watching that, I was like, I pretty much the rest, like all I'm doing now is watching like Dario Argento movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Two Evil Eyes, the George Romero and Dario Argento Poe adaptations, and then Inferno by Dario Argento, which is maybe his best movie, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, I have In Search of Dark that on my, if nothing else, that I like to see like some movies that I might have missed or whatever. Especially a lot of the older ones like that I never watched. And I think all I've watched was Suspiria and what's the one with Jennifer Connelly?
Oh, Phenomena.
Yeah, I think those are the only two that I've seen. I really need to like get my shit together, but
You should definitely watch Inferno and Tenebrae because they're the other two in the Three Mothers trilogy with Suspiria. So
okay.
they're the other two kind of like quote unquote like witch movies.
Yeah.
But Inferno is
Oop.
super good. I haven't watched Tenebrae in a while, but I remember it being pretty good.
Yeah, I need to.
I'll back anything Argento did. I think through like opera. Most of the stuff like from the '90s forward is not great,
Yeah, I could see
but
that.
I think I'm gonna watch all of them. There's a
Why
handful
not?
of stuff I haven't seen. I'm gonna watch the Adrian Brody movie he did called Giallo.
Yeah,
From
that one sounds like it's certainly something.
It looks pretty bad. All right. Next week, I think we're doing Dead Sushi,
Heck yeah.
which just means Kid will come back and it'll like disappear from streaming probably.
Probably. Yeah. That
um,
sounds about right.
I did not pull any of my notes up. Yeah, Dead Sushi next week. If you want to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/IHappySufferPodcast. This week, when we're recording this, we just dropped our episode on Rango the Crudes and Batman Gotham by Gaslight. It's a very strange mix.
Yes.
It's storefrontier.com/IHappySuffer for merch. We got like the new Alien Shredomorph t-shirt up there, which rules. Get you another tie-dye shirt for the summer.
Or a very orange shirt
Or a
for no
very
reason.
bright orange one. You can follow us on Instagram at IHappySuffer Podcast. Follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery and Katie at Werewolf Face.
You can also now follow me on TikTok where I am a little popular.
Yeah, because Instagram's trash, so.
Honestly, it really is.
Yeah, I hate it. If I didn't need it for fucking promoting shit, I would just want to delete it.
Yeah.
Go listen to my other podcast, Nate K Movie Club. And I think that's it.
I hope you commando but shark.
But to hunt Nazis.